Johnny.
4 weeks. 20 papers, that's $2 plus tip.
Gee, Johnny, I don't have a dime. Sorry.
Didn't ask for a dime. $2.
Well, it's funny. See, my mom had to leave early to take my brother to school and my dad to work because...
$2. Cash.
See, the problem here is that my little brother this morning, he got his arm caught in the microwave and my grandmother dropped acid and she freaked out and hijacked a school bus full of penguins. So it's kind of a family crisis, so come back later. Great.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Real News, where we talk about some things you probably should be taking a look at as far as the cinematic news world. Today, we're going to be talking about, some unfortunate news. Recently, Chadwick Boseman, who's famous for playing Black Panther, he did pass away. On behalf of the Real Movie Guys, I would like to, pay our respects to him. He was a great actor. I think he had a lot of potential in the future. He was young. What was he, 43, 44? Around there?
43.
43, yeah. It's just real sad. Like I said, he's, he didn't have as much time, I think, as far as an actor, as a career, but, he did leave his mark undoubtedly, regardless of your feelings on how good of a film Black Panther is. It is a landmark film, as far as the, for the Black community and just setting a new standard in media. And, like I said, I think our respects are to his family for sure for this time.
Well, yeah, and even with the movie that when he did the Jackie Robinson story too.
Yes.
Movie 42.
Mm-hmm.
He played you just saw the potential in his acting abilities.
Right.
In that movie, just that movie alone too. Mm-hmm. If you think about, he was doing Black Panther. He did Black Panther. He did the Avengers movies, Infinity War, Endgame, and all those.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing all those movies while he was going through something like this, going through cancer treatments, where his body probably wasn't as strong as it could have been,
mm-hmm.
and nobody even noticed. Nobody even knew. He wasn't trying to make excuses, but he was still going through doing all this hard work for these movies,
mm-hmm.
and fighting cancer all at the same time. I feel like that shows you how strong of a man he was and how dedicated to his craft he really was.
No, I agree. I mean, without a doubt, the man had more cojones than most of us could imagine to go through something, stage 3 cancer. It's just crazy. It's crazy to see such a young guy. It's always sad, regardless of who it is. In this case, just to see an icon, a newly forming icon pass away like this is it's a shame. It's a shame and a great loss to everyone. But the reason for this video is, again, for us to pay our respects to Chadwick Boseman, but also to talk about an interesting article that I saw pop up. CNN brought up an article about Denzel Washington once paid Chadwick Boseman's tuition in order for him to become an actor, which I think is really interesting. So the article goes, Chadwick Boseman was referred to as the next Denzel Washington, and the first has remembered Boseman as a gentle soul. Washington's rep released a statement to CNN paying tribute to Boseman, who died last week when this article was written, at the age of 43, after a 4-year battle with colon cancer. He was a gentle soul, brilliant artist who stayed with us for an eternity through his iconic performances over his short yet illustrious career, Washington said in a statement. God bless Chadwick Boseman. So even more interesting is, Denzel speaking on this, but also this other little tidbit of information popped up. During a special, famed actress Felicia Rashad told the story of how she mentored Boseman while teaching at Howard University when he was a student there. Rashad said she received a call that a group of her students had auditioned for had been accepted into the British American Drama Academy's midsummer program, but he would not be attending because they could not afford it. I made a phone call to a friend of mine, and he got back and talked to me about it, but in 5 minutes he said, okay, I got this money, Rashad said. That friend was Washington, and Boseman gratefully recounted the story last year during a speech honoring Washington when Washington was selected to receive the American Film Institute's Lifetime Achievement Award in 2019. He said, as fate would have it, this is Boseman, I was one of the students that he paid for. Imagine receiving the letter of your tuition summer was paid for, and for your benefactor was none other than the dopest actor on the planet. I think that's just an amazing story, right? I feel like we don't get much of this in Hollywood anymore, where an actor pays it forward to the next generation, right? I feel like there should be more of this, and the fact that, not even that Chadwick Boseman passed away, but the fact that, just to see like Denzel, such a historic actor, pave the way just to give these kids a chance, I think it's just a really good feeling story,
Yeah, definitely. Like, and just the fact that Denzel put put up all this money for this kid to just, even just to have a chance
Right.
to make it out there, is an amazing story, which into itself. And also, the crazy part is to what he turned into,
Right.
and how he became a man, and how he became just a legend in himself
Mm-hmm.
with his iconic roles.
The fact that Denzel did this, didn't really, he never said anything, right? He was just like, hey, I need some of the professor. She called him and said, hey, I need someone to help these students. And he did it. Never like made a big stink about it. Never,
No, he didn't ever want to get his.
yeah, he didn't like, wasn't advertising, look how great I am. I paved the way for the next generation. He just did it. And,
Yeah.
it's just crazy to hear. It's one of those weird connections in Hollywood that it's pretty inspirational to anybody, Not to say that you have to give tons of money, but I think there's a lot to be said in just paying it back, right? I think when you reach a level of success, no matter who you are, in whatever way, you should in some way pay it back to the next generation. Because regardless of how good you are in this generation, there's always going to be someone coming up behind you that either will be as good as you or even will be better than you. That's just a matter of fact. That's how it's going to be. But I think it's just such an endearing story to me. I just thought it was really interesting.
And I always feel like people always remember those kind of gestures throughout life. Like, you'll always hear, like, when people are giving speeches for, like, after their career is done and stuff,
Right.
they always remember somebody that helped them out in a way. They always remember the teacher, or somebody that, like in Chadwick Boseman's case, he would remember that Denzel Washington paid for his tuition to do that. It's always something that, even though these people don't expect to get the recognition, they always seem to get it in some way.
Yeah, and he concludes the article, which I think, he concludes his speech that he gave at this award show. Boseman added that he knew this story was not only one of its kind, added that an offering from a sage and a king is more than silver and gold. It is a seed of hope, a bud of faith. There is no Black Panther without Denzel Washington, Boseman said, and not just because of me, but the whole cast. That generation stands on your shoulders. Just such a class act guy. I mean, again, it's such a shame that he passed away. I really would like to have seen what he would be able to accomplish, maybe another 10 years down the line, just see where he's at. Not just because of Black Panther. Like you said, he's had other roles too. When he was in 42, it was an excellent movie. Probably should have covered it, actually, during our Real Sports series. Hey, it's something we can still cover in the future. It's not over with. But, again, it's just, the whole pay it forward thing, I can't compliment enough. And, to see two stand-up guys, right? Especially in, that you can argue are in the minority within Hollywood. It is predominantly a white system. So to see, two, black men just like lifting each other up, lifting their community up, and I wish there wasn't like such a separation, but I feel like there is. But to see, them helping each other and just to be so gracious, and just to see how connected, how strong of a connection he built to people through just a couple characters, right? I mean, he's not a big illustrious career here. He only played like a few well-known large roles, but the connections he established will be felt, forever. When, a young African-American child puts on a Black Panther mask, they're going to be looking at him, that representation. Like, he is that character, right? I mean,
He is the Black Panther.
Yeah, or if we watch, 42 and you see Jackie Robinson, like, he's going to be identified as that character, which is an underappreciated movie, by the way. 42 is very unappreciated. Definitely needs to be, signal boosted, I think. But beyond that, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, it's a more of a solemn episode of The Real News, but I thought, just sharing this little story might add a little, just a little back behind the scenes, behind these these people. They, we know them as their characters, but they're, we forget they're people in real life too. But I hope, this added something. And again, we pay our respects to, Chadwick Boseman, may he rest in peace, the best for him and his, his family and those loved ones he left behind. My name's Kevin. This guy over here, he's John. We are the Real Movie Guys, real movies, real thoughts. Thank you for joining us for Real News. We'll see you next time.